we're on the board in 2026. G'day all and welcome back to Freo Faithful for the Saturday night post-game fan cams. You know, I'm pretty happy with a 9 o'clock start, I'll be honest. We'll have some later games this year. You know, a 4:40 start. It was a little bit hot at Optus today, but, you know, you get home before a silly time. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm even happier that we've picked up a 48-point victory to get our first 4 points of 2026. We defeat Melbourne 17-16, 118 to 10-10-70. Positives, negatives. Certainly more positives. More positives than last week. Oh, my camera's gone. I'll tell you what, the fan cams are off to a flyer in 2026. This happened last week. Give me a second. We should be back. We are. Yeah, more positives than last week, less negatives than last week. You can't really ask for much more, really. So we'll get into the fan cams very shortly. I was just adjusting my camera. It went off again. Oh, bye. This is frustrating, isn't it? There we go. That should be the last time. Just quickly before we do jump into the fan cams, I want to highlight a few performances myself, and then we will get the fans' opinion. If you want to join the fan cams, join the waiting room. If you've never been here before, it's essentially talkback radio, but with video. Then you can click the link in the description. We've already got a couple in the waiting room, which we'll get in very, very soon. Let's talk about a few performances. Big bounce back, Andrew Brayshaw. Huge bounce back, Andrew Brayshaw. 14 disposals last week. A 1 touch last quarter against Geelong. He's bounced back with 39 touches. 1 goal. 10 score involvements. 4 intercepts. He was everywhere, Andrew Brayshaw. 6 marks. That's a big thing in Andy's game. He gets around the ground. He gets involved on the outside. So great to see. Josh Tracy, 4 goals, 17 touches. His customary 10 marks. It's just what JT does, isn't it? He gets high up the ground. He makes that forward line his own. And given his other 2 key forwards were running around like headless chooks out there, Josh Tracy made sure that forward line stayed compact and sort of intact for us to kick a winning score. So, shout out JT. Last guy I want to shout out before we get on to some niche shout outs. Shea Bolton. I think he was best on ground. I think that was his best game for Fremantle. At least his best game since the Giants game last year. But 32 disposals, 2 goals. 9 clearances. 10 inside 50s. 9 score involvements. I'll put my hands up and I'll say I was wrong with my anti-midfield Shea Bolton propaganda I was running late in the preseason. Yeah, I was I thought he was awesome. I thought Shea Bolton was absolutely awesome. He just gave us something so different, so nippy. And it felt like, especially in the first and third quarters, every single time you looked at a contest, it was Bolton to Brayshaw, Brayshaw to Bolton. Those two were combining so much. So, big fan of those two guys' game. Before we get into the fan cams, 3 more guys I want to shout out that may not get as much recognition. I mean, Murphy Reid, I wasn't going to shout out. 24-2. Second year, by the way. He's ridiculous. Chris Sherry. Debutant. I was pushing a lot of positivity with old Shez on this channel in the preseason when he got picked up. Because I'd seen him at Coburn all preseason and I could see what this guy could do. He was lightning quick. Very clean with his disposal, but it's easy enough to do that at Coburn. Can you bring it to the AFL level in front of 45,000 people? The answer for Chris Sherry is yes, he can, in a big way. Oh, what a debut that was from Shez. He had 20 disposals, 2 marks, 2 tackles. Where did my stats go? 4 intercepts, 5 score involvements, 4 inside 50s. Just absolutely awesome, that display from Chris Sherry. Next up, by the way, sorry, we'll speak about Sherry, I'm sure, with the fans who jump on the fan cams, but that sprint to the wing was kind of in front of me. I sort of sit on that on that flank, and next to that wing where it happened. That sprint was ridiculous. He just outran about 3 Melbourne players in his first game of AFL football, when those other guys were accustomed to AFL match fitness and whatnot, and Shez just put the burners on. I think that's the nickname we're rolling with, by the way, Shez. I can't really think of anything else. So big shout out Chris Sherry. 2 more guys quickly, very quickly. Carl Warner. Another 20 disposal game, but I thought he was a little bit poor and shaky last week. He got the lockdown role on Keziah Pickett. Keziah Pickett kicked 1 goal. Had 16 disposals. Can't do much through the midfield, but it wasn't dominant. Carl Warner had that lockdown role on him, and he had 20 disposals on Keziah Pickett. He had 6 intercepts. He even got forward for 3 score involvements. I thought it was an awesome, awesome game from Carl Warner. And lastly, chat might not like me, Oscar McDonald. I'm sorry, I've seen some people going at Omac, and I'm not the biggest Omac fan. Like, I thought he was really poor last week against Geelong. I think he makes some simple errors a lot of the time. But Oscar McDonald was matched up on Jacob Van Rooyen. Jacob Van Rooyen kicked 6 goals on a Callum Wilkie backline last week, right? Kicked 6 of them. Jacob Van Rooyen had 0-0 scoring shots in the entire game, and he was held by Oscar McDonald. That was Omac's job. Omac led the game in intercepts. He had 8 intercepts. He had 4 score involvements. I mean, these things don't matter. I mean, the intercepts do, but he had 19 disposals, got involved, 6 marks. I think Omac needs a bit of credit. I think Omac needs a little bit of credit, if I'm being honest. We'll get into the chat after we jump into the fan cams first and foremost. We are going to get Dilzer in to kick them off. Are you ready, mate? Give me a thumbs up. Beautiful.
All right. Hello. Yeah, Noah, thank you for letting me join. Good win tonight. I thought we bounced back really well. I thought Omac was pretty good. I thought he was pretty poor last week and that, but I thought he did what he needed to do. Christian Stalers was pretty good too. Apparently, interesting stat. Apparently became the first debutant to have 20 plus touches since Jordan Clark.
For Freo? Or just...
Yes, for Freo. On a debut for Fremantle. Brayshaw played really well. He did what he needed to do when Sarong was getting tagged. Probably Bolton's best game as a Docker 100%. So far. What do you think for people like Brendan Cox, Bally Banfield, Michael Frederick coming back in? Can they fit back in at the time?
I think Brendan Cox is pretty automatic. I think Omac played a great lockdown role on Van Rooyen today, but it's healthy to have competition for spots, right? Brendan Cox is just an elite backman that slots straight back into this team, and we played our best football with him last year. Michael Frederick, it's hard to say because he'll be out for 6 weeks, and that, we've got another 4 weeks for, Chris Sherry and Isaiah Dudley to prove themselves, and you're not dropping either of those after how they've started the season, especially Dudley. And who's the other name? Bailey Banfield. We've probably just got more quality backmen. I mean, he's versatile, so if we need a forward and we've got an injury crisis, I'm sure Banners will slot in there. If we need a wingman, if we need a halfback, he's versatile, but at the end of the day, he's probably not best 23.
Yeah. What about Sean Darcy? Does he have a future going ahead, or can you experiment a Mason Cox?
Oh, you can definitely experiment a Mason Cox. I mean, Sean Darcy was better today. I don't think he was amazing.
I thought it wasn't amazing. He was okay. That's the word, okay.
I'd agree. So he had 45% time on ground last week. He had 54% today. So a slight little spike. I mean, 6 disposals, 2 marks. Struggled to impact alongside Gorn around the ground. But again, didn't win the hit-out contest, but competed for bits. I mean,
I thought he competed. Yeah, but I thought he competed a lot better. But Jackson's now the clear-cut number 1 100%. Going forward.
Yeah. Do you like
also, LJ, he had to battle back Scorn today and he played a little bit of midfield. Not his decent game, but not like Geelong. He did against Geelong today. I thought Dudley played pretty good. It's time to open up the checkbook for Isaiah, for Dudley and that.
Yeah, I think he's out of contract at the end of the year.
He's out of. I wouldn't be surprised if an SA club goes after him, like a Port Adelaide or an Adelaide Crows.
Yeah.
But we'll pretty much want the checkbook pretty quickly. If Bolton wants to play midfield and Dudley wants to be the next forward up, and that because you got Fredericks, Reid, Who else we got? We got Dudley,
Yeah,
Swikowski, and
we got
that.
Sherry in that sort of midfielder.
Sherry won't be dropped now. You can't drop Sherry
No,
and
exactly.
that.
I mean, 20 disposals of high half forward on debut. That is such a hard role to play for a debutant, and
Hmm.
you a lot of the time see debutants, especially with a lot of pace to burn, sort of struggle to run out games. But he was just going until the very end. He had close to 100% time on ground in that last quarter.
Did Max Gawn look sore? He did look sore today. He looked a bit knackered.
Did he? He might have. I mean, I was sitting a long way from the play. I didn't really notice.
How do you think he went?
Oh, I think Gore won the ruck contest around the ground. I think that's, I think that was objective. Again, like, I think Jackson competed with him. I think Darcy sort of competed with him, but like Max Gawn's just going to beat any ruckman in the competition.
Were you surprised that they slotted a Jai Cully in there? Like a Jai Cully?
I like Cully. I thought he played well last week, but he played deep forward, and I think Luke Ryan cleaned him up pretty well. So
Yeah, I thought Warner's actually becoming a really solid back in that.
Yep. No, Warner
Warner's
had a
becoming
lockdown role on Cozzy, and he was
and he
fantastic.
limited him to 16 touches, but Cozzy had to play midfield in that.
Yep. No,
Pretty
100%.
much.
I thought Carl was really, really good.
And I think Wagner's becoming underrated too. I think Wagner's becoming underrated. He's a good ball user.
Yeah, great ball user. When he runs through the guts, we don't have Hayden Young. When Murphy
can play midfield. Can also play the wing too, and that can also slot 100%. Wing with because you also got your other wingers like Matthew Johnson as well, Neil Rasmus, but Rasmus is playing now inside midfield for that Fife role. How do you think he's going with his role replacing Fife?
Who, Erasmus?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. He's had 2 really good games on the wing. He had a spike in midfield minutes today, I want to say. I'm not sure how many centre bounces he got, but it felt like he did.
Yeah, I saw that he had centre bounces. And finally, last question. How do you think the next month will go? Richmond, Adelaide, Collingwood, and then Eagles, and then the Blues.
Well, old cliche, it's 1 week at a time, and I think we've definitely got to take it like that. Like, we had some inconsistencies today. You'd expect us to beat Richmond pretty comprehensively, but Adelaide and Collingwood are tough tasks over in Adelaide, so we'll just see how it goes week by week.
All right, thank you for that. Have a good night, and I'm about to go back and watch the Premier League.
Oh, good call. Who do you support?
Manchester United, sadly.
Oh, good man. I mean, tough draw.
Oh, who's your favourite player? Yeah, it was a tough draw.
Man.
Do you think we make top 4?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I think we will.
All right. No worries. Have a good night. Thank you.
If you want to join the fan cams, the link is first link in the description. I also put it in the comments just a little bit up. Let's get into the chat now because there's been a lot of the chat that I have missed. Let me just scroll to the top. I told you an underdone Ryan is better than Omac. I mean, Omac shut down Jacob Van Rooyen, who kicked 6 goals last week. And look, Luke Ryan was fantastic defensively today. And I love Luke Ryan. And I'm not taking anything away from him. But at the game, especially in that last quarter, I'm sitting above that 50-meter arc where our defense was in the last quarter. And Luke Ryan, every time he got the ball, was the result of us moving the ball slowly and conservatively and us not playing that piercing aggressive football. So JL said in his post-match presser there was some in-game inconsistencies and whatnot, and I think Luke Ryan's ball movement was one of those. I think we played quicker football at less of a volume this week compared to last week. Obviously we got the win and more points on the board, but yeah, I think Ryan 100% improved us defensively. But with his ball usage, like, he's a great kick. I just think his decision-making leaves sort of so much to be desired. Oh, duds. That's one word, mate. Jonah and Raz have really stepped up their games. Yeah, they were so tenacious today. I was sort of watching them thinking, like, these are role players and, like, sort of B+ type of players on a really good team. They were so tenacious. I haven't even really seen their stats. I imagine Raz probably had more touches. Yeah, so Raz had 21 touches. Sort of seems to be his mark every week at the moment. Raz is a 21 to 25 guy, and I'm loving it. Matt Johnson had 19 and a goal. So, yeah, both of those guys look really, really good. Very handball heavy as old Matty. Could Dudley and Sherry keep Freddie out the side? If they both keep playing like they did today, you couldn't drop them. It's less of a question with Dudley, because Dudley, I think, plays a different role to what Freddie does. I actually think that Dudley would have played that round one game irrespective of if Frederick was fit. It was O'Driscoll that came in, I think, for Frederick in round one. And now that Hayden Young injuries happened, O'Driscoll got shifted higher up the ground, still had some stints at half forward, didn't actually get any midfield minutes. And Chris Sherry ended up playing that Frederick role, sorry. So I think it's more of a question of, can Sherry keep Freddie out the side? No reason why he can't if he plays like that. Like, it's all about selection integrity, and Chris Sherry showed more than enough to keep his spot for at least next week. I mean, 20 disposals on debut off half forward. I'm fully expecting a Rising Star nomination unless someone just takes the piss tomorrow. I thought he was fantastic, Sherry, and my answer is yes. I think they could, more so Sherry. Yeah, the delayed telecast, I can't believe some people still haven't seen the whole game. If you don't want to wait, then you can listen into our feedback here, but if not, head over to Channel 7. How bloody good indeed. How good was it, Ben? I'm going to say two things before the stream starts. How fucking good did we look at times? Number two, Chris, give it to Sherry. Sherry is going to be a star. Yes, sir. I love that nickname. Darcy and Omac out for DP? Who's DP? I don't know who DP is. And I wouldn't be taking Omac out after that game unless Brennan Cox is fit, which I think he will be. So maybe Omac does go, but only if Cox is fit. By the way, I'm not sure if any of you have seen, if you follow the Instagram or whatnot, or if you watch Wolfie Wednesdays every Wednesday night here on YouTube, but we have the Morabito medal here on Freo Faithful, which we've kicked up this year. There are 3 sections. There is a section voted by me and Druzy, a section voted by Zach and Jordan from Wolfie Wednesdays, and a section voted by you guys. So the fan vote is open now. You can click the pinned link in the comments, or you can, actually it's not on our Instagram yet, but you can click that link right there and go and put in your fan vote for the Morabito medal, and all the votes are revealed on Wolfie Wednesdays and on Instagram every Monday. Let's continue on with the fan cams. Tanu was up next, who we haven't seen since last year. Are you ready, mate? I'll wait for him to get ready. I'll wait for a thumbs up. Cool. Hey, mate.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. That was a decent game, actually. I was happy with that one.
Yeah.
Although actually maybe a little bit boring. But boring, I'd much prefer a boring win than an exciting loss.
Well, yeah. I mean, 42 points off at quarter time, only won by 48. Like, I really think we could have probably put the foot down. So that's probably the boring aspect of it. But the individual performances, mate, like, there was some that just jumped off the stat sheet.
Yeah, part of me wanted there was part of me that wanted a 80-point kind of game. 80-point win, sorry.
After that first quarter.
I could see we were going there. But also, I think, I was saying this to a mate as well, probably underrating Melbourne a little bit. I think Melbourne are not going to be absolute write-offs this year. I think they're actually playing a pretty decent brand of footy. They're probably like not absolute bottom dollars. I think they're kind of more chasing that number 12 to 10 kind of reign, in my opinion, anyway. So maybe putting like them to the sword isn't as easy as I say, hopefully a Richmond next week.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if we saw the Tigers game today, but they looked pretty off it for most of it. I mean, they fought, but that second half, they just completely fell away, and that's sort of what teams like that are going to do. I agree with you. I think a lot of the fan base did underrate Melbourne, but I think a lot of the Tapton fan base still sort of saw what they could do. Like, they've got talent. Max Gawn obliterated our ruck department, even with a guy like Luke Jackson, like Max Gawn. Jack Steele was great around clearance. Like, they've still got talent.
Yeah, I think Melbourne's still pretty good. And I think the brand of footy that we're playing is pretty damn good. I want to go back to Luke Ryan. I was having a little go on the chat there. I think it shows that, like a 2-time All-Australian, he is just that good and that predictable. Like, he might not be the fastest, and maybe he doesn't quite fit into the game style as well as he used to, but I think he's still that important. I'd probably play him over, like, if I was going to bring Brennan Cox back in, I more think the ones that are probably more on the chopping block, I'd say, are Chapman and well, probably Chapman, really, isn't it? And then if Walker comes back in as well, I'd want to fit Walker in, and I don't know exactly where Walker would go. Oh,
Well, I think Cox and Walker.
McDonald as well.
Yeah, well, Cox and Walker both have to play in my eyes. I mean, less so Walker, but I still think, like, in an ideal world, Warner did great on Pickett today, but you still probably want Brandon Walker playing in that matchup. And Heath Chapman's had a few games now where he's sort of been given a free ride for the past couple of years, and I've always been a big Heath Chapman man. But he's had a bit of a slow start to the season. Not really his fault in round one because he was played out of position in a way as a third tall. But today he was just a little bit off it. He was given a more suitable matchup. I mean, no warning signs with Chapman really, but yeah, we've just got great competition for spots back there, and someone like that might have to make way.
Yeah, I think Chappie's still like AFL quality. I just think he's probably the next one to get bumped if, say, all of our backs get healthy. I'd say that he's the next one out at the moment, in my eyes.
You look at a guy like James Aish, who was a stalwart of our 2022 team, and when we were playing some decent footy around that sort of period, and through no fault of his own, he just got knocked out of the team because we had competition for spots back there. Like, things can happen like that. Like, when James Aish left that team and never came back, it was through no fault of his own. So whether Heath Chapman's that sort of next guy to sort of make way for the next crop because he hasn't really taken his chance, we're not saying it's the end of Heath Chapman. I still think he's a great footballer. But yeah, I agree with you. Brendan Cox might be back next week. Is he straight back in?
I'd say Brendan Cox is back in because I would still rate Brendan Cox over Oscar McDonald. I think he proved himself last year, and I think he gets a spot over McDonald until he proves, unless he proves otherwise, that McDonald deserves his spot over.
Yeah.
But I think for now, I would put Brendan Cox. I'd feel more. I think for this game, because we had it under control for a lot, it's fine, but I think Omac can get a bit panicked. And he's not quite, I don't think he's quite got the stable head, or he's quite the man down there, if that makes sense. I think he can play like kind of the third dude, but if he has to be the dude, he's not the one.
I agree with that. He did a great job tonight, but he wasn't the man. Alex Pearce was the man back there. And then Carl Warner had a massive job on Cozzy. And I'm not going to discredit Omac because he had Jacob Van Rooyen who kicked 6 goals last week, and he held him to 0 scoring shots and had 19 touches of his own. So that was close to Omac's best game in a Freo jumper, but he just has those brain fades that a Brendan Cox doesn't have really. And that's what it comes down to, consistency in game.
Yeah, I think they're both good players, but it's like that thing again. I'm not saying that Chappie's bad. I'm not saying that Omac's bad. I think they're just kind of next man in for those ones. Yeah. I think
I'd agree.
Another one that I'm now talking like list quite a bit instead of the game, but even with this game, I'm thinking I love Switter, but and I think he still gets a bit of a ride for now. I'd still play him over a lot, but with Sherry kind of coming out, and if he can keep that quality up, and then if Young gets back in, out of those small forwards at the moment,
I don't know.
He just doesn't kick the goals though.
Yeah,
Sherry
went. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I looked up some. I was having an argument with a mate the other day, and he doesn't really kick the goals. He's got the pressure, but I thought, because I was just let's have a look at someone like Jack Ginnivan, for instance. Because I was like, Switter probably is underrated. I reckon Switter mops Ginnivan, and Ginnivan does a lot better than Switter in a lot of stats. And maybe Switter's not just the stats. You can't just look at the stats for him. But I would have thought Switter would have had better stats than Ginnivan. And because I think Ginnivan's good, but I don't think he's that great.
No, I'll disagree with you there. I think Ginnivan's a great player. As that high half forward, really good ball user, great user inside 50. He's probably improved a lot over the last sort of, the back end of last season, start of this season. So it's been a a gradual and recent improvement in all fairness. But I think Switter especially, like stats aren't a thing you look at with him. And throughout periods of 2025, he was rated, top 5 small forwards in the comp based off his pressure and what he brings to an entire unit. So I hear what you're saying in terms of the Sherry argument. But I also think with how high Sherry played today, and he racked up 20 touches and was really involved in the game, in the role that Switter plays, he isn't being put into a position to get that much of the ball. And I think playing Sherry in a position like that would be wasting sort of his talent and his speed and whatnot. So I hear what you're saying, but in my mind, it's both of them instead of only one of them.
Yeah. Also, it's probably way too early yet for me to be singing Sherry's praise over, like, let's have Hawthorn here and have it be down to like 1 point, 1 kick, 1 smother that makes the difference. And probably Switter will be the person that stands up in that.
Yeah.
He's a level
100%.
head.
What did you make of Sherry's game today?
I thought it was great. I thought it was excellent, really. You can't really do much better than that on debut. I didn't know too much about him before going in as well. Like, I knew he was the choice of the SSP, and he had quite a bit of raves from you guys and stuff, but I wasn't expecting a massive game. I was just expecting more like how McVee's come in and just played his role, and like he's been clean, it's been good. I wouldn't say McVee's blown me away, but he hasn't disappointed me. I was expecting more like, it's a debutant, that's what I expected, but he actually did very good and blew expectations.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sherry was one of those guys this preseason when he was a trainer where you get 2 or 3 guys each session that would really catch your eye. Like Leon Kickett and Toby Wan were like constant sort of players that always caught your eye because Wan's got that blistering left foot and he's super quick. Leon Kickett is lightning fast, got that natural knack for goal. But you can tell they're just not quite ready for AFL. Whereas Chris Sherry's a guy that could catch your eye, but show the cleanliness with his disposal and his goal kicking that like he can match sort of the speed straight away. So yeah, I'll be honest, it surprised me to see how well he did, but I knew he'd sort of fit in at the level straight away. I thought he was fantastic. And into the midfield quickly, Shea Bolton, do you reckon that was his best game in purple?
I reckon that was probably his best game in purple, and he kicked a couple of good goals as well. Oh, a couple of things I did notice, like even it's super small, but in the first quarter when we were just absolutely kicking goals, I did notice a tiny bit of selfish footy come in, and I think Shea Bolton has the license to do that a little bit. But I think a couple others like Matt Johnson took like a kick from 50 and it was a miss, and a couple things like that where there was like some guys inside that were probably better targets. And I think Shea Bolton did one. I don't mind Shea Bolton playing a bit more on the selfish footy if he's going to take a kick for goal, because that's what he's paid to do. He's paid to just launch, and I think today he smashed it, and he kind of was. I think his role was a little bit filling in that kind of Hayden Young as well, like the smooth user in the midfield on the outside.
100%. I'd agree with you. I think this win is very healthy for the fan base because, we've won by 48 points. We can sleep easy. We can rest well up until next week where we've got another game because we got 4 points in the bank. But there are so many improvements that the fans can see and I'm sure the coaches can see. Like, JL wasn't ecstatic in his press conference. I don't think the fan base is overly ecstatic. We're just celebrating the small wins with guys like Sherry and Bolton and Brayshaw, who bounced back big this week.
Brayshaw did well.
And then also just looking at the improvements, like, Tracy as well. Like, some great individual performances. But then you look at it, like, we really only played 2 good quarters. That's where the win came from. And probably the second and fourth quarters were really, really inconsistent. And there are some massive improvements to come from there. I think it's a healthy win for the fan base. We're not getting too high, but we're not getting too low.
Yeah, it's also a good thing as well. Like, if you look at those teams that are just smacking at the moment, like the Bulldogs, for instance, and probably the Suns, there is that whole thing if you can be too good too soon. Whereas what I've noticed for like the last few years is the ones that go really far are the ones that seem to have a few problems to kind of iron out throughout the season and kind of build into like a polished version at the end. And I feel like Freo's got that more than, say, a Suns or a Dogs. I can see the Suns and the Dogs. Maybe not the Suns, actually. The Suns just look like they're so good. But I could see, say, the Dogs have a habit of kind of going like this and then dropping off. Or
Yeah.
Collingwood last year was another good example of that as well.
Yeah, as
Whereas-
long as we've got the signs at this point this year, and we're not playing our best footy week in, week out, and we build towards that, then yeah, I think we're in great stead.
Yeah, I think the belief in the brand is there. It looks, to me, watching it this year, I go, this is a winnable way of playing. Like last year was pretty good as well, but this way feels like it's more solid.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone knows their role. Like, fringe guys like Erasmus and Johnson were just going in, head over the footy, using the ball well, inside and out. And a lot of the time when those guys played last year, there was a few inconsistencies. They weren't sure if they were going to be in the team the week after or not. I just think there's a real sort of focus on role, and everyone knows their place in the team this year.
And I feel like this year as well, the role players have all really kicked it up a notch. The stars are stars, like you got your Jacksons, your Tracys, your whatever, but the role players like your Wagner, your Erasmus, your even Johnson this year, like he made some good decisions today, kind of thing. Isaiah Dudley, these more kind of what were fringe players within the last couple of years are now kind of cemented and like there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, mate. You've made a fair few good points. Just before I let you go, do you have anything else to add?
I think I want to see. Voss didn't have his best game, and I'm looking forward to seeing him pop up a bit better next week. I reckon he's in for a big one.
Just quickly, actually, before I do let you go, were
And
you at
Amos.
home or at the... okay, so we can talk about him quickly. But before Amos, were you at home or at the game today?
I was at home.
What did the broadcast say about Voss and whatnot? Because there were a few little murmurings about what he did to Petty with the crying sort of taunt. And that's caused a bit of controversy already post-game. Did you see anything in regards to that?
No, there was nothing done by the commentators or anything. No one said there didn't seem to be any concern or any problems with that. Even was it Cully that he had up on his shoulders? I can't remember who he put it on shoulders.
It was Ed Langdon.
And Langdon, yeah. Like that just seemed like a bit of a joke and kind of a bit more
that was
spectacle.
fine, yeah.
So no one seemed to be saying that there were any issues with
Okay.
no one going, oh, that's concerning, or he might get blah 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 in trouble for that.
Okay, cool. Before I let you go, Amos, talk to me.
It's getting consistently bad.
Yeah.
It's getting consistently poor. He's dropping marks, and I can notice now as well that like the users that are going towards 50 are avoiding him.
Yeah,
Like,
he's getting higher
in the
up.
first-
Like, he's pushing onto the wing and he's using his feet more to find other people in sort of the right position. He's not necessarily in positions to kick goals and whatnot at the moment, which I don't really think suits him. So, yeah.
But he's
it's
being. Have you noticed that he's being like, maybe for the first quarter he'll get kicked to a few times, but then after that he's not getting kicked to. So, for instance, there was one where there was Voss and Amos, and Amos probably had the slight better matchup, but Tracy decided to kick to Voss, and Voss was in probably a worse position.
I think it's a bit of that and a bit of at the ground. Amos was playing very deep and his leading was terrible. He kept on slipping over. He kept on falling behind his one-on-one matchup. Like, his leading was just night and day from preseason and how he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add.
Yeah, I think it's starting to turn into a concern now. It's been a bit of it's turning into a pattern. It's last year. It's now the first 2 games of this year. This is against a side that he didn't have Tom Stewart on him. You've got like, who's the third? I can't even name the third defender
for Melbourne.
Yeah, because you've got Petty.
Petty House.
Lever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got, if you don't have Petty or Lever on you, then it's like, God, you've got to be doing a bit better.
Well,
And I don't even think Lever and Petty are that. Probably Lever is the best one there, but he didn't seem to have that great of a game. Whereas the Geelong players last week had a great, like their defense had a field day. They did really well. Whereas I don't look at Melbourne's defense this time and go like they were perfect. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like Amos should have been able to pick a hole or, pop up for 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah. No, what you say is valid. I think there's going to be a big discussion for about Jai Amos this week and every week he's in the team playing like that. So I hope it improves. But we might need to find a solution soon. Thank you for joining, mate. I hope to see you again next week.
Cheers. Till next time.
Yeah, good to see you back this year. If you want to join the fan cams, click the link in the description. The first link in the description, it's essentially just click a link, you get put into a waiting room, I bring you in, weave a yarn. That's how they work if you've never been here before. A couple of comments I want to get to. First and foremost, this one from Jakey Wood, which I saw while Tanu was on. G'day Freo fans, good pickup for you guys to get Sherry. He played in my brother's side at Strathmore last year and won the grand final in the EDFL in Melbourne. I'm a Richmond fan, good luck for next week. Well, thank you, mate. Good luck for next week as well. That's awesome to hear. So Chris Sherry's last game of football was that, I think, Essendon District Football League grand final for Strathmore. He won best on ground. Like, he has played local footy more recently than VFL footy. He played for the Northern Bull Ants last season. And, like, his stats didn't jump off the page, but this is why scouts are paid and fans aren't. My fantasy team's... I'm ranked about 700 right now. Like, incredible ranking, but it's just... doesn't need to be talked about. It's in a bad state. It's Mason Cox, isn't it? It kind of, and I'm not sure if that makes us a better team or not, at ground level and whatnot, because at least Amos gives us that. So, yeah, it's an interesting discussion. There's a lot of talk about Amos here. Needs to go back to the twos, get some form and confidence back. I just wish there was a like for like, because if we were a few games into the waffle season and Charlie Nichols was playing some good footy, I might say, give Charlie a run, but I'm not really sure if we're in the situation to be doing that or if sort of Charlie's ready for that. Voss can do whatever he wants as long as he brings character to our side. That is like character for too long. Yeah, whatever he wants is far. He definitely pushed the line tonight. I did see something about David King not being a fan of Voss's taunt towards Petty. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting fallout. I think Fireballs a must listen on on Monday with Kingy. But yeah, that'll be an interesting fallout. We had the JL presser last week, and this week we got Vossi. We've got a headline every week at the moment. Voss was too busy auditioning for WWE. Yeah, I saw that. Suspension's far, given I think Noah Answorth did it. I wasn't a fan of it. If it was in relation to Petty crying 4 years ago, not a fan of it from old Vossi. But he brought personality to the game. Like, he definitely crossed the line tonight, if that's what it was. Like, we need more context before we start assuming, but sort of what it looks like to me. Jai and Darcy were quiet, but didn't play badly. Thoughts? Will the alignment with the fans continue? Jai, I did think wasn't great. Darcy, I'll agree with you a bit more. I think Darcy competed more than the stat sheet showed. He competed in ruck contests with Max Gawn that he didn't win, and he at least sort of halved the contest, even if the hit out on the stat sheet went to Max Gawn and our mids got to work. Like, when you look at 2 quarters of that game in particular, our clearance numbers were off the chart. And Sean Darcy was in the ruck for a lot of that, even when he wasn't winning the hit out. He was giving, not first use, but a decent chance to our mids. So we were -10 in hit-outs for the game. But then we were +3 in clearances, +6 in stoppage clearances. Obviously, stoppage clearances suit Darcy more because you don't have the centre circle to deal with. And he's obviously not really suited to those new ruck rules. So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't mind the sort of mindset, though. I don't sort of mind the mindset, Peter. Yeah, I think Darcy actually competed. Wasn't amazing. Mason Cox should probably be in the team. But, Darcy played and we've got to just sort of praise for what he did well. And we won by 48 points in the end. And our contest work was fantastic. And he must have been a part of that. I'm sold on Sherry. I think we all are. Good thing the AFL season's a marathon or a sprint. Yeah, as I said before, this is a really healthy result. Like 48 points, not too many enough positives to keep us happy till next week. Enough sort of negatives to, sort of think about what we need to improve on for next week in the future and in terms of building towards our best brand, because we haven't had a season coming off finals where we've played finals the next season since 2015. Like, it's been 11 years. I was in primary school. I was young. Like, it's kind of a new thing for a lot of this fan base. So, yeah. It's just a different sort of stage in our development Freo are in at the moment for a lot of our fans. I'm not sure if I got that point across well, but, I'm tired. It's 9:50. He plays more half forward or mid. Oh, this is Murphy Reed. Yeah, he was so good today. Yeah, I still think he's probably more of a half forward, but he played some great mid minutes today. I think he looks better without Hayden Young in there because we need that X factor, and Murph just provides things that we don't have. Swim might be less inclined to go hard at the ball because of his multiple concussions. Yeah, I still think his pressure was great today. Better than last week, certainly. But I agree. He says it won't have an impact, but I can guarantee it probably will. Thoughts on getting caught out the back and weakness to teams kick mark like Brisbane? We have to defend better, especially at the end of games. Yeah, we got locked in Melbourne's forward 50 towards the end of that game a little bit. Well, we still might be vulnerable to that, but I think we've got time to sort of counter. Like, in the teams we play coming up, Richmond should just be a breeze through. Collingwood don't really play that style. They've started playing a bit quicker using handball through the middle. We're just going to have to put a tight tag on Dacos. And then we've obviously got Adelaide, who played a very conservative brand against the Bulldogs, but I think that was a very game-dependent thing. So I'm not sure what to really make from the Bulldogs. All I know is they're playing good footy, and we're going to... Not the Bulldogs, the Crows. They are playing good footy, and we're going to have to be careful of them. I think Sherry still needs to prove he can do this consistently. Oh, 100%. Like anybody who first comes in the side. Like, if Murphy Reed had 3 shit games after round 1 last year, he wouldn't have held his spot. So, yeah, it's like any rookie. Yeah, so no Lynch and no Nankervis next week. Great point. Maybe we do just play Omac again, because they'll have, Armstrong and Lafau in that forward line. No Nankervis means that former Perth Wildcat centre Ollie Hayes-Brown may be debuting for Richmond in the ruck. So that would be funny. Yeah, we've got depth, that's for sure. Both Cox and O'Meara still a test. I don't really see how John has a spot in this team, to be honest. I'd love if he did, but, not taking Jono or Raz out. Loves long way to the top instead of We Will Rock You. Oh, the goal songs today. If you're at the ground, please give me some feedback on the goal songs. I thought they were fantastic. Bit of Rock the Casbah. Yeah, the pre-game music with the bagpipes. 100%. The crowd was so much more up and about for that too. Yeah, I'm a big tick for that change in the pre-match. Sherry's the winger we've been looking for. He would be a gun on the wing. He would be a great winger. He'll have stints on the wing. If he stays in the side, he'll end up having stints on the wing. But again, the game's been narrower in the first 2 weeks of the season. We've made this point a lot. But Raz and Johnson and Wags and even O'Meara, if he gets a game, will flourish playing on the wing in these types of games. So, I'm sure he'll get wing minutes if he stays in the team, because he'll be able to play there consistently. But, no guarantees. Full strength beer at Optus. It made the win even better. Opinions on all the new goal songs. Well, here we go. Thank God they got rid of Coldplay. Also, is it time for the guitar guy to go? I'm personally saying no. But the people around you are stupid, because that guitar guy on the roof is the most uniquely Freo Dockery thing ever. I love it. With the bagpipes next to him. Fast starting 2 weeks in a row. Loving the new Freo. High pressure and high scoring is what the Freo Faithful want to see. Bang on, mate. Bang on. JVR's just Jai Amos light. Did Jai kick a goal today? I don't think he did. No, he didn't. Our goal scorers were Tracy 4, Dudley 3, Reed and Bolton 2. 24 and 32 touches for Reed and Bolton. And then Voss, Witkowski, Sarong, Johnson, Jackson, Brayshaw. Brayshaw could have had 2 or 3. He could have really put the foot down. Whilst I love the win today, Longmuir needs to drop Amos and Darcy. Pick people who are in form and can play. No one should play on money or draft pick form, nothing else. Can't disagree with it. I think Darcy needs a bit of credit today for at least halving a load of the contests. But we might have won by more if Cox was in. But I want to take the positives. There's feedback to be had. Feedback to be given. But at the end of the day, Sean Darcy wasn't disastrous today. You know, Oscar McDonald's got a lot of flack from the fan base. He was awesome. I think we can celebrate a few of these guys today. Along with the Chris Sherrys and the Andy Brayshaws who bounced back. Yeah, Nank will be out next week. It's not probably. That hammy got torn off the bone, I reckon. Banners can play wing. We've got wing options. Freddie is going to struggle to get back in with who we've got in. Oh, he's a lightning quick. He's awesome. 100% bet. If you want to join the fan cams, by the way, first link in the description. We'll probably go till about the hour mark here on the fan cams. And if you haven't already voted on the Morabito medal for tonight's game, then you can vote on that now via the pin link in the chat. I can just... Actually, I won't pull up the leaderboard. But Luke Jackson's currently leading with a perfect 9-vote game in round 1 against Geelong. I don't think he'll get votes today. You can tell it's new for the fan base because in 2023 we went 0-2 and lost to North Melbourne. Yeah, what was 24? 24 we beat Brisbane in round 1. Oh, we started 3-0 in 24. And then 25... 24 we started 3-0 and then lost to Carlton and West Coast. And Port. And it just sort of evened out. And then last year, it was 0-2 and we had that Saints loss in about round 8. And then we just went on that big streak. So, yeah, hey, 1-1. This is new for us. We can be level-headed. I did see this about Kingy. Yep. I've got some very positive opinions on Sherry. I thought he was awesome. Lightning quick, very crafty. Yep. Still think it'd be better if each player had their own goal song. At least we've got no Coldplay. Fair enough. I think that's a fair assessment. I hate the fact where some players decided to lose focus, where there's some obvious players that didn't go, which we have to stop breaking. Yeah, focus did sort of waver, probably second and fourth quarters. I thought the first and third were really good. The sort of quarters that were attacking my end. So, you know, I got to see the good attacking football in front of me, but yeah, I'd agree. 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, 14, 15 was the last time we played successive finals. So yeah, big task ahead for us this year. And we don't just want to play finals. We want to, you know, challenge in finals. And a win today will give us a bit of confidence going into next week and the week after that. And it's just a very 1 week at a time sort of basis at the moment for Freo. Don't want to get too high. Don't want to get too low. Just enjoy the process because it's been a fun little start to the season. We've scored 100 plus in both of our games to start. We're averaging about 110 a game. I think 108 to start the season. Yeah, it's a fun little start. All right. Well, I think that might do us for tonight unless there's any more chats. King Arizona is finding new ways to hate us now that we know how to play fast footy. No, I thought Kingy was pretty valid in the post-match. And I quite like Kingy, which is rare for a Freo fan. How does Don come back in? I don't know. He definitely does, actually. That's a lie. So Cox comes in for Omac, you'd think, just based off the credits that Cox has in the bank. And then... so Luke Ryan was... You can't take Ryan out after 20 touches and the amount of intercepts he had. But our ball usage was so much slower when we had it in his hands. So there were pros and cons to Luke Ryan's game today. He's got to come back in, Walker. It's just a hard game to drop Ryan for. I'm trying to think who goes out. Maybe O'Driscoll. Again, Noddy wasn't bad. We're just going to have to make these tough selection calls at the end of the day. And also, that laid out statement that Freo put out was so vague. It was just like, soreness. What does that mean? Where's the soreness? Rest Coxie and Young if they're available. It is Richmond. I'd rest Cox. I think there is 0% chance Hayden Young's available. I think Hayden Young will be back at best for the Collingwood gather-round game. And it might end up being the Derby. I think that's a hammy that we're going to be extra cautious with. And hammies that are listed as 1 to 2 weeks never end up being the truth. Yeah. It's a really hard one with Walker. I'd have to say O'Driscoll and probably move Wagner to play more wing and on ball. And, Wagner play a lot of half forward in the preseason. So thinking of it, it probably would be Walker in for O'Driscoll. Because Ryan's just too hard to drop now. He's back in. It always sort of felt like that once Ryan got back in, he'd never come out. And I'm not complaining about that really, but he did have some cons about his game today. How did Young get back in? Oh, well, that's... I don't want to say Sherry, but I mean, that's in 3 or 4 weeks. In 3 or 4 weeks, we will have a performer that isn't performing up to scratch that Hayden Young will be able to come in for. At this point in time, do you shuffle and go like Amos out? Do you just go the O'Driscoll out? Do you end up going Luke Ryan out and reshuffling? We've got some bloody good competition for spots. Like maybe Sherry falls off a cliff. Like, I hope not, by the way. Negativity around Chris Sherry is the last thing I want because that man was amazing today and I hope he keeps his spot on the side. It's just too hard to predict ins too far in the future. Yeah, Jordan. Because they had a bit of a scare today, Gold Coast. Like, Richmond played some good footy against them. And, like, West Coast won the second half against Gold Coast last week. So, yeah, you do have to respect these teams. I agree with both sort of sentiments. I'm just glad to see our game plan has finally changed. After 4 to 5 years of slow footy, we're going in the right direction. 100%. That's a big positive. Young for Nod right now. Oh, that's a pretty easy change if he came back in next week. But I actually am going to put it out there. There's been no medical diagnosis to say that he won't play next week, but I'm going to put a 0% chance on the table that Hayden Young plays next week. A 0% chance that Young plays next week. It's a hammy, and it's Hayden Young. If we play him against Richmond... Sorry, take Richmond out of the equation, because Richmond could do anything. If we just play him in this game full stop, whether it's the Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast, or the Monsters from Space Jam, like... It would just make no sense to not take the cautious approach, given, as someone mentioned before, it's a marathon, not a sprint this season. Well, I think a waste of time's harsh, but yeah, it's testing some people's patience. He's turning 25 or 26 this year. 2-part question. Does Walker get back into the team, and if yes, for who? Yes, he does, and probably for... O'Driscoll and Wagner goes down back and yada yada, or a bit of a switcheroo. In my opinion, we still need him against teams with more dangerous small forwards. Yeah, so I think that Carl Warner on Cozzy thing today, and Carl Warner did a great job. But I think it was probably a late decision. I think Walker would have gone to Cozzy Pickett. With all this talk about Latrell Pickett in the pre-game, and he did not worry us once. He was pretty woeful, but second game, like, that was always going to... I said it in the preview, like, his chaos could either win the game for Melbourne off his own boot or just be atrocious. And it ended up being the latter. So, good for us. But yeah, we do need Walker, and I think probably O'Driscoll. I think O'Driscoll's the fall guy for a lot of players to come back in because how versatile he is. Sharpie had a good preseason. A bit of news about Sharpie. He played inside mid for Peel last week. Now, Peel play again this weekend. So, read up on the news. Might cover it in the podcast on Tuesday. But he played inside mid last weekend, and him and Sherry were best on. He had about 30-odd touches on the inside, did Sharp. So, again, he's in the mix. We've just got competition for spots. Walker's still got to come back. Cox has still got to come back. Young's still got to come back. Jeremy Sharp, if he gets a good run of form. So, yeah. Good competition for spots. 4 spots. Yeah, well, we played him injured for 3 quarters at the end of the day. Like, he got injured in that first quarter in Geelong, so... Yeah, I mean, Captain Hindsight's a great thing, but did the medicos do the right thing? Not sure. They know more than us, so they know more than me. Yes, I did see this. Lucas Robinson, projected top 10 pick, Freo NGA, midfielder, big bull, the man from Lake Grace. He did play in the senior side for South. Any news about how he went? Should I get that up now? So, yeah, if you're a Freo fan, keep your eye on South Freo this season. We obviously drafted Toby Wine and Ryder Luke out of South in the draft just gone. Lucas Robinson is the new guy. Has that game been played yet? And did Peel play today, or is that tomorrow? Sorry, I'm just trying to... Sorry, Mason Cox, Bailey Banfield, Adam Swade, Leon Kicker, Toby Wine, Ryder Luke, Toby Murray, all pick for Peel. I'm just having a look here. Is it Saturday? I'm going to the Waffle website. Are the stats on there? Alright, let's do a bit of research. Okay, South Fremantle pick first round draft prospect and Dockers NGA talent, Lucas Robinson, for their grand final rematch against East Perth. Oh, Saturday morning. So it was this morning. Okay. I knew they were playing at Freo Oval. Alongside Chase Bourne, Ethan Hughes, Matty Parker. Yeah. I think that's basically it. Okay, let me have a look. Do they have Waffle preseason stats on the Waffle website? Live scores, fixtures and results. Sorry, this is worthwhile, I think. Preseason Waffle League. Here we go. All right, South Fremantle 106, East Perth 54. We don't have stats. We've got goals. Okay, we've got goals. Did Lucas Robinson kick a goal? No, he didn't. Why is there 2 Ethan Hughes? No, there's no stats. I'm sure we'll get a report on that somewhere. We can have a look at the Peel Thunder goal kickers. Peel lost by 9 today. We may as well have a look at the Peel goal kickers. Charlie Nichols kicked 2. So, Jai Amos. Toby Murray kicked 1 goal 1. Again, we can't see disposals. Leon Kicker kicked 1 in this Peel debut. Adam Swade, 1 goal 2. Mason Cox kicked a goal. So again, we can't see disposals. But Ryder Luke, Aiden Riddle, Josh Draper, Jaron Carr, Toby Wan. They're all in the team. So, yeah, good to know. I do love me a bully mid that can rip the game to pieces. And he's from Lake Grace. So, if we're not getting a reincarnation, then I don't know what we're getting. Lucas Robinson feels like a guy we'll draft in the top 10 as an NGA and just play round 1 next year. I mean, I know it's round 2 2026, and I'm speaking about 2027, but just feels like that guy. He's just got such a high ceiling. Like, as an underager for WAN in that South Colts team, just looks amazing. Obi-Wan's going to be very fun to watch. He is from Lake Grace. Raz looked settled. Raz looked awesome. Agreed. Back-to-back home games. Hopefully percentage boosters. So we're 6th on the table. 121 percentage. We let a bit of percentage slip today. But yeah, we've just got to put the foot down on Richmond, who lost by 4 points to Carlton and 68 to Gold Coast. So we want to be closer to that Gold Coast margin than the Carlton margin, it's fair to say. And at the end of the day, just get the 4 points, heading into 2 massive weeks on the road in Adelaide. Back-to-back Friday night games at the Adelaide Oval against the Crows and the Magpies. I mean, we're a big club. I don't think I have to tell you. Yeah. All right, I think we'll wrap it up now. We've been on for just over an hour. Thank you to everyone who joined the fan cams. Hopefully, I'll see you again next week for the fan cams a little bit earlier because it's a Saturday Arvo game. I think Drews will be hosting next Saturday. I had to fill in today because he was out. He usually takes the Perth games, but here I am just, cleaning up his slack per usual. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to all our members here on Freo Faithful. If you want to become a member, then please hit the join button next to the subscribe button. It helps us out massively. 58-point winners? No, 58? 48-point winners over Melbourne. 17-16, 118 to 10-10, 70. Thank you all for watching. 5 things we learnt with Druzy will be out tomorrow. The player ratings with me will be out on Monday. The podcast with both of us will be out on Tuesday. And then we're back into the swing of things, leaning into the Richmond game. Heaps of content on Instagram and TikTok per usual. Go follow us over there. Thank you all for watching. Up the Dockers. Sebi kicked 2 in that game. Did he? Well, sign him back up. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Go Chris Sherry and go the Dockers.